Love-inspired suspense and HarlequinAudio present Montana Abduction Rescue by Jodie Bailey, performed by Shannon Hemmings. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. Psalm 139:16. To Carol, Jessica, Laura, Lissa, and Shannon, for the prayers and the brainstorms and the food, and most definitely the laughter. Also, did I mention the food? I love you, ladies. Here's to many more years of all of the above. Chapter 1. He should have known this was a trap. Ian Carpenter sped down a winding back road near Glacier National Park, pushing his old reliable pickup to the limits of its capabilities as he raced to save himself from his pursuers. What was happening? The threat to his life had ended 3 months earlier when Ronnie Thornton died in prison, the last member of a crime family whose threats had driven Ian to take refuge in witness protection. It should have been safe for him to return to his hometown. It wasn't. Behind him, a sleek sedan kept pace, toying with him. The driver raced up on his bumper, then backed off before charging again. Likely, he was searching for the right place to clip Ian's pickup and spin him off the mountain. He had to get off the road into good cover before that happened, or they barreled into a populated area and put others at risk. Glacierville, Montana, rested peacefully in the valley, and the last thing he wanted was to see an innocent family caught up in this wild chase, the victims of whoever was running him down. Gripping the steering wheel, Ian took a curve at a speed that made his palms sweat. Only his prior training with the Peake County Sheriff's Department kept the truck from hurtling off the mountain. His pursuer misjudged the curve. The back end of the car slipped to the outside. Ian didn't slow to watch. He pressed the gas pedal to the floor, trying to reach the one place where he might be safe and help could potentially find him. There. The turnoff snuck up on him, and he wrenched the wheel, tearing through brush and past trees onto an old logging road that wound deep into the woods. He winced as branches screeched along the paint of his restored Ford pickup. When he'd first gone into hiding, the vehicle had been his outlet, the physical labor of repairs a way to block his fears and regrets from drowning him. Best not to worry about a paint job when his life was on the line. A large metal gate appeared in the center of the road. Ian slammed on the brakes and fishtailed to a stop just short of the barrier. This was new. Guess he was on foot from here. Grabbing his pistol from a custom pocket on the side of the seat, he shoved the door open and raced into the underbrush. Ian barreled down the rocky hillside toward the densest part of the forest, where a creek cut a ditch at the base of Calham Mountain, about 7 miles outside of Glacierville. When he reached thick underbrush and deep shadows, he pulled his phone from his pocket and surveyed the area, trying to orient himself. From the logging road above, the sound of gravel under braking tires skittered across his nerves. He gained a lead, but not much. Heart racing, he opened a new text, then typed the number he'd long ago committed to memory. There was no one else who could get him out of whatever this was. 911, at our old place, outsider. Typing out his old code name nearly knocked him back 2 years, but any emotion was drowned by adrenaline and urgency. He sent the text along with a prayer that Meadow Ames would see it and come immediately. Not that God had time for his prayers, but it was worth a try. When he'd been undercover with a multi-agency human trafficking task force led by the U.S. Marshals, Meadow had been his handler. If he ever needed her to back him up, it was now. Otherwise, he was as good as dead. Pocketing the phone, he listened. Judging from what sound
Sample complete. Ready to continue?